Sean in Minneapolis, you're on the line.
Hey, good evening to you, Jason. I want to get your perspective. I just saw a documentary recently called September Clues. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have.
What's your take on it?
I think it's total bull. All right. Listen, the one thing that they keep playing over and over again, nose out, nose out, nose out, West Cam, nose out. Look, that's one video. Then you look at the other videos from the other side that are much closer, and yeah, it does look like there is this protruding thing on the other side. You know, I don't know whether it's the fuselage on the plane, whether or not it was a drone, or maybe it shot a missile, or maybe it's one of the engines that pierces through. But that doesn't prove to me, quote unquote, TV fakery. On top of that, there are now, September Clues came out probably like, I want to say two plus years ago, close to 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more. It was just before we released Loose Change Final Cut. I'm pretty sure they put it out. Anyway, there are even more videos of the second plane hitting the World Trade Center released by Pent Bomb only 6 months ago. A lot of the videos that were taken by amateurs. Now, anybody who, some of the amateurs were across the Hudson River, okay? And the one in particular that I like to point to that literally to me proves there is no way that TV fakery even is a remote possibility is the one over the Hudson River where you can barely see the plane. I mean, it's like this little gray blotch with wings. And as it approaches the World Trade Center, it almost blends in as they're similar colors. You know what I'm saying? And this video will coincide with the Jennifer Spell video, the CNN video, all this other stuff, right? And the flash is still there when you can barely see the plane. That flash under the right-hand side of the fuselage, basically a little bit to the left of where the engine would be, is still in the video. So you're telling me that they faked all the media reports, then they faked all the amateur footage. No one caught amateur footage of the plane not hitting the building and never released it because the government is all powerful, and that's something they don't control. I mean, for example, you know, when they shot that guy in Oakland, and they said, the cameras didn't work, and this is in the subway system, about 6 other people caught it on their cell phone cameras. You know what I'm saying? So someone would have caught the building exploding without a plane hitting it, and they wouldn't have been able to doctor it. It would have hit somewhere. You know what I'm saying? On top of that evidence, I mean, you have hundreds of eyewitnesses that a plane hit the building. Then you look at the shape of the hole. It's the exact shape of the hole that the plane hit. In other words, it has the 2 wing sections, it has the body section in the exact spot the videos show. And then on top, I mean, there's just so many things wrong with it. They try to overlay videos on top of one another and say that the landscape is wrong. I can tell you from firsthand, from shooting in different, you know, with a wide angle lens, with a regular lens, shooting at 720 by 480 instead of 640 by 360, all these different things, that of course it's going to be different. You're shooting at a separate angle from a separate place with a separate type of camera. So the things that they try to overlay on top and say this should be there and that shouldn't be seen there is total bull. Okay, it's total bull. I can't even tell you how much bull it is. And it comes from a theory that was out there pretty much right after the attacks of holograms hitting the buildings instead of, you know, TV fakery and all this other stuff. And that woman, you know, she did some good research at first. I met her. She's out of her mind. She had like half of her hair cut up crazily, riding a bike and talking about, you know, I'm not kidding, man. And this is someone I conversed with back in 2002, thinking that some of her research was legitimate. Don't be fooled. And the main person, by the way, who's behind all this Westcam and the digital fakery and this whole thing, you know, he's a meth addict. I met him on the 4th anniversary of 9/11 when we only had Loose Change 1 done. We were working on Loose Change 2nd edition at the time. And I'm talking to this guy, you know, back and forth, and he's telling me that the videos are faked. And I'm like, well...
You're talking about Simon Shack?
No, I'm not talking about the guy that actually did the movie. I'm talking about the guy that the research is based on. I don't even want to say his name, to be honest. You'll if you type in meth addict, 9/11 truth, he's insane. He's absolutely out of his mind. He puts up YouTube videos where he's wearing masks and they're talking about the murder of Dan Wallace of We Are Change. No one murdered Dan Wallace. I happen to know what happened to him. It wasn't a murder. It wasn't foul play. I knew the kid. You know, I met him on several occasions. I'm good friends with Luke Radowski. You know, these people, this same character was down at Ground Zero this year, right? Okay? While I was handing out DVDs and trying to tell people the truth about 9/11, you want to know what he was doing? I'm going to tell you. He was wearing an Alex Jones mask, and he was with another person who was dressed up like Puff the Magic Dragon. He was in a Puff the Magic Dragon outfit. okay? While the other lunatic is in an Alex Jones mask, screaming, ranting, and raving, has like a flag up of, 9/11 truth co-opted TV fakery, and the other guy is dressed up like Puff the Magic Dragon. Now, I'm trying to have a serious movement where I've got literally hundreds of people in Investigate 9/11 shirts. We have real information, real billboards. We're handing out real DVDs. This guy is with somebody in a Puff the Magic Dragon outfit. I mean, does that sound like legitimate 9/11 truth to you?
That does sound comical.
It's worse than comical. It's damning to people like myself who are really trying to get a message out there. And people look at this guy and they say he's totally insane. And I'm like, yeah, he is. It's unfortunate he's here. Go ahead.
But what do you make though? And you don't even have to look at September Clues because you can look at BBC's original video footage. Jane Stanley, one of their own journalists, and BBC doesn't deny it. She reported the collapse of Building 7 20 minutes before it happened.
Yes, and that's in Loose Change Final Cut, and let me explain that to you, because they actually admitted after we put that movie out exactly what I thought it was, and it was what I thought it was. What happens is somebody puts out a report on a news wire, right? And then everybody picks it up. So in other words, one of the people that knew they were bringing that building down put the report that, that Building 7 had fallen down from damage too early. It went out on a news wire. Other media outlets picked it up from the news wire, and Jane Stanley did report that. And actually, the Mail reporter that's basically going to Jane Stanley and reports it first, he got interviewed by We Are Change, and he's like, I don't remember any of that. And then they show him the video of him doing it, and he's like, oh, that does seem rather bizarre, doesn't it? There should definitely be some kind of an investigation into that. But then, of course, the BBC debunked it with their little debunking fest, and they said, oh, it was out on a newswire. They didn't debunk anything. They said exactly what I had predicted had happened. And basically one of these spooks who knew what was going on absolutely put that out on a newswire, and people picked it up too early. That's what happened. The same thing happened when they killed Kennedy. It was on the front page of the foreign papers that he was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald hours beforehand. So this is something.
Serious?
Yes, absolutely serious. Absolutely serious. Go check it out for yourself, my man. I thank you for the call, Sean.